Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Barr and I'm a contemporary mixed media artist, and today I'm here to talk to you about my show entitled The Space Between Us at Carbon 12. Space Between Us consists of 3 bodies of work that I've been working on for almost a decade now. Animals is a pretty new body of work, and I say a decade because I feel like it's just a long time coming. It feels like it's something that's just been building and building and building, and it's still communicating that same conversation that I've been working on for over a decade. The ideas of the human condition and war and violence and protests and pain and fear and love and all those things, but it's just in a different medium. So that's why I say decade, because I feel like it's something that's been building and growing in my mind, and I just didn't know how to bring it into like real life, like what mediums, how do I, because it's the ideas build, and sometimes like these flickers of like you see them, you see colors, you see patterns, you see things, and it's just like some things are definite and they're immediate and you can jump on them, and some things just need time to cook. And I feel like this time that we all went through, this tornado that we're still living through, was this kind of like pressure cooker for me, and it just kind of like pushed this body of work out of me because there was just so much going on with the pandemic, with wars, with protests, nationalism, racism, the elections. It was just endless stuff that was happening to animals, stuff that was happening to people. There was just like it was happening all over the world, but I'm in New York and I was seeing things that were happening around me, and it was just really a lot to digest, a lot to take in, a lot to address. And for me, animals was just a reaction to what was happening. I mean, it was developing, and this was just like, it was like an explosion. It just like came, like I immediately started collaging. Like as soon as this whole thing started, the pandemic and all the protests, and before that I started a few pieces, and then it just kind of like went into fast forward, and it was beyond what I could even control. I just was like collaging, and it was my sanity during this time. And it was really, I think, the clearest way I could communicate what was going on around me. And the other 2 bodies of work that are in this show are the Confession series and 206 Bones. And these bodies of work have been also about a decade each one, but they're shifted. I could see the shift, because also after you work on some bodies of work for a while, you can see the tiny little shifts that make all the difference in the world. And the piece that the show is entitled after, The Space Between Us, is a part of the Confession series, but it's really a breakthrough piece for me. Like I feel like it's the first piece that I said everything that I wanted to say with so little. It doesn't have any body parts in it. It's just cast wood in bronze, but it's just, to me, it's these very rectangular, tightly put together pieces of bronze that to me signify the emotional space, the actual space between us, physically, mentally, in every single way. At this, like, we're just all thrown into this thing. We're all just like thrown in this, and we're just like eating at each other, eating away at ourselves. And it really signifies, like, for me, everything that's been brewing in the world. And it's this compact little tightly wound piece. And it's also just very abstract and architectural, and it's a place that I've been wanting to get to for a really long time. I've been wanting to get to this place where I can just simplify things and say everything with a lot less. And the titles of the 3 pieces in the show, the 3 sculptures, are Don't Follow Me, I'm Lost, The Space Between Us, and the last piece that I did from the 206 Bones pieces, I Surrender. And for me, and then the collages are all called Animals. That just, I mean, it just nails it for me. That's like everything that I've been dealing with, everything that it's just like, I work from a very emotional, from a very raw place, and I try to reflect life. I always try to reflect that unforgiving, that brutally raw and honest life that we're all in, that we don't really understand, but we try so desperately to understand. and to grasp onto something. And I think that's where organized religion comes in, and nationalism. We're just trying so desperately to like make sense of this thing that we know nothing about, you know. And that's what the work is for me. It's not about like, it's not about art, it's not about sculpture, it's about life. You're in it, you're trying to survive yourself, you're trying to survive other people, you're trying to survive your own geographic locations, and you're just trying to survive, and you're trying to make sense of it all. And it's so brutal sometimes. And that's what I want the work to reflect. Always, I always want it to reflect that discomfort. That's for me. Like sometimes it's just so uncomfortable being here, trying to make sense of it all, and trying to survive it all. So I hope you enjoy the show as much as I enjoyed making this work.